Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Obviously, an exciting day for the program, for all of us. Culmination of a lot of hard work over a lot of different years, and so a lot to celebrate, a lot to look forward to. But was pleased this afternoon to accept an invitation from Nashville Sports CEO Scott Ramsey for the University of Illinois to represent the Big Ten Conference in the 2025 Liberty Mutual Music City Bowl. The game, a lot of the details are in front of you, but the game will be held in Nashville, Nissan Stadium, 4:30 p.m. Central Time on Tuesday, December 30th. It will be broadcast nationally on ESPN. Of course, we're excited to play a high-profile opponent in the University of Tennessee. Notably, it's the first time we've ever played the Volunteers, and so that'll be an exciting experience for us. We have a lot to play for. With a win, it would be the first time in program history that we've won 9 or more games in back-to-back seasons. Also be our 19th win over the last 2 years, which would also be a high water mark for us over a 2-year span. Of course, we just had a taste of Nashville over the last few days with our men's basketball program. It's a great win for our team down there. I think just as importantly, a really impressive turnout by our Illini faithful, and I have every confidence that they will be back down there in 3 weeks to cheer on our guys. It's an exciting game for us. It's an easy drive to get down to Nashville. It's a marquee opponent, and really looking forward to having what has become our annual family, and with the ILL holiday gathering in the Music City. We've got information regarding tickets as well as travel packages now available on our website, fightingillini.com. And would encourage everybody, of course, to get on there and make plans to join us in that week between Christmas and New Year's. A couple congratulations and thanks. First, of course, I want to thank Scott Ramsey and the folks down in Nashville for the invitation. It's our first appearance in this particular bowl game. I know our fans will be excited to join us down there and experience all that Nashville has to offer. Also want to congratulate and thank our players. This has been such a special group, a group that has really changed the trajectory of Illinois football. I know Coach will have a lot more to say about them, not only today but in the weeks ahead. But this is a group of seniors in particular that arrived here with a vision for what this program could become, and I'll be damned if they didn't make that vision a reality. All of us really are the beneficiaries of their hard work, their commitment. It's a group that has left a legacy here that will be remembered for a really long time, and we're looking forward to sending them out on a high note, hopefully putting a capstone on their careers down in Nashville. Also want to thank our football staff. I think everybody who covers our program understands this, but pursuing a career in high major college football is not something for the timid or for the faint of heart. It's a day after day, week after week, month after month grind, and it requires incredible sacrifice of things that matter, including time with your family. It is high visibility, it is high pressure, there are a lot of high demands, but when you do it well and when you have a season like we did this year, it really does allow you to create something memorable, a season that means something to a fan base, something that means something to our teams. It allows us to build relationships that will hopefully endure for the test of time, and so just want to thank that group who works in this building day in and day out. Also want to thank our broader DIA staff, and I think probably goes without any explanation, we have made success in football a priority across this athletics program for a long time now, but in particular here over these last few years and since Coach Bielema's arrival. I can't hit on all the ways that manifests itself across our entire department, but I'll just mention one that I think embodies what that commitment has looked and felt like, and it really is the game last week against Northwestern, maybe the Snowmageddon game, if you want to call it that. It was an incredible effort from so many different people to ready this stadium, to have this game played under such adverse conditions. Obviously, our facilities team was here hours upon hours, a lot of back-breaking work, moving that snow in and around the stadium. But beyond the facility staff, we had a lot of people who don't have snow removal in their job description, who were out here with their boots laced up, with their shovels in their hands, helping to move the snow around that building for hours that afternoon during the most intense periods of the storm. And without their help, the stadium doesn't get ready. We don't have an opportunity to welcome any fans into the building, and we don't have the chance to go out and bring home the Land of Lincoln trophy. And so I had a chance to communicate with them in private, but in front of all of you, we just want to make sure we convey our thanks to our staff. And again, that's just one example of the ways day in and day out, large and small, that everybody in DIA is working to help make this football program successful. And it's really rewarding to see such commitment and to work with such a special group of colleagues. Also want to congratulate and thank everybody associated with our program, our fans, our donors, everybody who has invested their time, their resources, their emotional energy into seeing this football program build and grow to the point that we have it now. And I reflect back on this year. I think about some of the cool memories that we were able to share. I think about the $100 million gift announcement with Larry Geese and adding the Geese name to Memorial Stadium. I think about welcoming Fox's Big Noon kickoff show here for the first time in program history, and to not only do it once, but twice, and do it twice in 3 weeks. It was really special to have that kind of enthusiasm, that attention. Fox asked us after coming the first time, do you think you could match what you were able to do the first visit? And we said, look, you haven't seen anything yet. In the way that our students in particular, but our fans showed up for that Ohio State game, the way that they came out to be a part of that program in the pregame hours, was really a memory that I'll have for a long time, and I know many others will as well. And I know those were the first visits, certainly will not be the last, and we're looking forward to continuing to have that kind of profile and visibility on this football program. To be able to beat USC here at home, a team that finished the season ranked number 16 in the CFP. We ended up beating two teams that now we know became eventual conference champions in Western Michigan and Duke. And then, of course, the Snowmageddon game that I mentioned with Northwestern. Second year in a row we've played under very memorable conditions against the Wildcats, and to be able to bring the hat home for 2 years in a row along with the cannon means a great deal. The numbers are pretty exciting. As you look back at the season, our season attendance exceeded 400,000 people through the gates of Memorial Stadium for the first time since 1994. Our average announced attendance this year was 58,350. It's our highest attendance since 2009, and it's a remarkable increase of 65% since Coach Bielema's first year in 2021. We sold out 4 consecutive home games for the first time since 2008, and contributing to those attendance numbers were 42,000 season tickets, a number that is up over 90%, or I should say almost 90%, since Coach Bielema's first season, and that also included over 8,000 student season tickets. That's up over 107% since Coach Bielema arrived. So it's really special to see so many people coming through the building, and I think they've been rewarded for it. The last 2 years, we've been able to go 6-1 inside Geese Memorial Stadium. It becomes a little bit of a chicken and the egg. Are we winning because they're there? Are they there because we're winning? I think the answer is yes. And so it's been incredible to see so much enthusiasm and to have the success that we're having here in our home stadium. And then lastly, just to see that 7 of our 13 games this year were on high national networks, major national networks, I think, again, is a testament to the visibility and the recognition and the success that the program has enjoyed here since Coach arrived. Lastly, of course, just want to thank Coach Bielema, and kind of segueing from some of the things that I was saying, it's amazing what has happened here over the last 5 years. 36 wins in his first 5 years. It's the most ever by a coach here at the University of Illinois during their first 5 seasons. To now win 8+ games in 3 of his first 5 years, the first coach to ever do that. 3 high-level bowl games now in those first 5 years. And then you focus in on the last 2 years. And again, I mentioned earlier, we're sitting now at 18 wins over the last 2 seasons with the chance for our 19th. We're now 5th. The University of Illinois is 5th in the Big Ten in total wins over the last 2 years. tied for 6th in conference wins during that time. And then you look at what happened when we all got together in this room earlier this week to talk about recruiting and to understand that we just signed the most decorated recruiting class in the program's history. It just all speaks to sustained success, which, again, you've all heard from me, from Coach. That has been a feature of our conversations from the very first time we had a chance to talk. And this is what sustained success looks like. To be able to do the things that we're doing on the field, away from the field, to be able to prepare the way that our team does, and know that every time we kick it off, we've got a chance to go out there and win a game. And that is something that has really been rewarding to watch and to feel some investment in. And the things about Coach, and I've had the chance in a lot of different settings to talk about him, the reasons for our success, I think, as we look at his leadership, one, he doesn't ask anybody to do anything that he hasn't done or won't do himself. His work ethic is remarkable. He's the first person in the building. He's the last one to leave. He's hired a tremendous staff. I touched on them earlier. The people who walk the halls of this building every day share that commitment. They share that vision. They are every bit as talented and dedicated as he is. He's a remarkable relationship builder. I look at the way he has been able to build relationships. It's hard in football because of the size of this room, because you understand how many people you have on your roster. They all have family members. They all have expectations. They all need to be managed on an individual basis. You've got a big staff. You've got people working around the community who are trying to help your program. He is really gifted at building individual relationships with all of those hundreds and hundreds of people, and that's a very hard thing to do. His football acumen is the best I've ever been around, and not only does he know it, but he can teach it. A lot of you know my parents were teachers. One of my dad's favorite quotes was that a teacher is not judged by what he knows, but by what his students learn. And Coach Bielema does a great job of making sure that his students learn what he knows about the game of football, so that when they kick it off on Saturday afternoons, they're as prepared as any team in the country. He's an unbelievable person and a great friend, and we're just grateful to him, to Jen, and to their daughters for their commitment to this place, for the leadership they've provided, and for making such a remarkable impact on this football program, this university, and the Champaign and Urbana community. So, again, on behalf of all of us, thanks to Coach. Congratulations to the program for another exciting accomplishment, and we're looking forward to seeing everybody down in Nashville. So with that, I'll turn it over to Coach Bielema. Thanks, everybody.
Good afternoon. Saw some of you guys in Nashville last night, so it was kind of fun going over on the plane Friday. I got a chance to be with some donors, and kind of Josh and I had conversations last week. Didn't know exactly how the day was going to play out, but had a good inkling that we were going to be coming back over there for the bowl game, and honestly to maybe have a chance to play Tennessee. So I thought being there last night and being able to watch a basketball team do that, and just the fans, it's probably one of the great things for me as a head coach. You are so locked into your moment, game day and everything, like you don't realize all the things that go out around it, right? And I was in Nashville yesterday in our team hotel, right, and then went to a barstool spot that they had kind of had as a rally point, and to see the interaction with the fans, it was just absolutely great reminder for me of all the things that go around college athletics, and super excited for this bowl game opportunity. To play Tennessee, a very, very gifted football team, mirror us a lot, probably in the fact that they, have a very dynamic quarterback, play caller, obviously, Coach Heupel and his history as a player and then coach. I've never competed against him. I played Tennessee one time when I was at Arkansas, so was able to play at Tennessee one time, but to have this matchup, this moment is pretty cool. I think to have another quality SEC matchup with the two leagues going on is really, really awesome. I want to thank, obviously, everybody that, like Josh just mentioned, to make last week happen for the Northwestern game. It was probably a really good reminder for me. I saw, what was coming in during the course of the week. We prepared as much as humanly possible. I watched a lot of bad weather games, but there's nothing like being in that moment and what our support staff did to make that stadium what it was, to clear it off, and then really the tale of two halves. It was almost a totally different game in the second half weather-wise, right? And to see that play out, thought it was interesting early in the course of the day. I was informed that we were going to move everybody behind us, in that stadium environment. That was pretty cool to have that behind us as a backdrop for our players and all that goes into it. So that gave us the win, which I think solidified us to go to this bowl game, this opportunity. Couldn't be more excited. I just got a text. I think you always reflect back. These bowl games are obviously the culmination to a season, but for fans and especially the players' families, right? Just got a text from Betsy Altmaier when I was walking in here, and she said she thought half of Mississippi is going to be there in Nashville. I was just glad that one was going to be there from Mississippi. So I think it gives our guys a chance to have a quality opponent there down the stretch. I don't know anything about who's playing or not playing. I'm sure I'll have a lot of conversations this week. I've had some beginning conversations with the guys. Also, there's some guys that have some season-ending or some surgeries that got to take place after the season, so we got a lot of those conversations going on as well. But just really took last week to decompress, kind of understand where we're at. This week we'll actually get on the grass. In the indoor, we'll get in there, do a little bit of just Illinois versus Illinois this week, kind of have a lot of developmental practice this week as we game prep and get ready for Tennessee. Offense, defense, special teams. We'll probably get in 5 to 6 quality good practices before we leave for Nashville. I'll give the guys a couple days off before Christmas for allow them to go home for the holidays. Then they'll meet us on Nashville probably on Christmas Day. Still working out the exact details, but we'll get about a good weekend before the game. Staying at the Opryland Hotel, which will be an awesome experience for those guys that haven't been there before. So a lot of just really good things. Super excited. And with that, Josh read off a lot of stats, but the one that was blowing me away was right. Like I didn't even realize it. I did going into the Northwestern game because of where we were at. We were at 11-2, and I knew if we won, we were going to have 12 wins in 2 years in Geese Memorial Stadium. And I think about looking back on it, one of the stats that I was really proud of when I was a head coach at a former school in the Big Ten, there was a time where I was filling out senior invites to their families for their senior day. And I remember there was a stretch during a 3 or 4 year run where those kids only lost 1 or 2 games maybe in a 4-year window. And to think that, anybody that's been in this program the last 2 years and to walk off that field out there 12 times victorious with only 2 setbacks is a pretty amazing thing to get to. The stat about being in the Big Ten, number 5, I think that's Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State ahead of us to have the most wins over teams like Michigan and USC and some other teams that are in this league that historically have been, winning football for a long time. To have those things jump out are really, really pretty cool. So excited about the opportunity. With that, I'll open it up for questions.
What was the impact of winning last year's game, and what could this one mean?
Yeah, 2 different things. So, you guys have pieced it together right here, signing day on Wednesday. This is going to be an entirely different offseason. Last year we had so many returning players. So this year we have a good amount of players that are returning, but I think it'll be a lot more about retention and acquisition. So that feel, but just the buzz and the energy around our program. Obviously, the out of season last year, we probably, for me in particular, I just had a lot more coming at me about people that were interested in doing stories on us about our guys and what it is. I think it takes people a while to get used to Illinois being good in football, right? And I think because of that, the more we can sustain it, like Josh and I have talked about since I got here, that's probably the biggest deal.
Give you a pretty good feeling about what will come on the 30th?
Yeah, it was funny. I got up early, I grabbed a cup of coffee, and a young boy was standing there, and he had on orange pants, all right, and maybe a gray top, and his dad's like, Coach, he was in all orange earlier, but I told him he couldn't just wear all orange because I'm like, what a confusing statement, right? I didn't quite get what was going on. I forgot, obviously, Tennessee's all orange, so there was a lot of orange and blue last night, a lot of orange overall. I think it'll be confusing for people at times. You got to be clearly identified, but I do think to have a 5-hour car ride. I even heard that you could stop at a casino about halfway here between here and Champaign to the, so that might intrigue some of those travelers. But I think just to have a city like that, to have it be on the 30th, I think is actually even better timing than the 31st, right? So people can still do something for New Year's if they wanted to. So I just think the timing of it, we have our own slot on that day. I think there's 3 games others that day, but to have our own time slot should be an awesome opportunity for us, and I expect the family to show up in full effect.
This would be your 3rd bowl game here against SEC, and now you had a bunch of those in Wisconsin too. Is there a specific light and playing that conference? Or
I think anytime you're in these matchups, the matchup is obviously a non-traditional, so you don't get to see them. I think, you go back to the Mississippi State game, and then, everything that unfolded that week with Mike, it was just a very unusual experience. And then have South Carolina last year at this time, they were coming off a Clemson win, and they were probably the next team outside of the playoffs, right? And to have a Again, last year, a very good, talented quarterback that was kind of a marquee guy for them. To play that game the way it did, the way it played out, and to have the win, you're always excited. And I think our guys, I shot a group text to the leadership council as soon as I knew who we were playing and what we're doing, and they responded very favorably, very quickly. So I think they're excited to play. I think to play a good quality team that you don't normally get a matchup against. I had no idea that until Bret told me today that we'd never played one another as a fan base. So that's pretty awesome.
Brett, with everything that happened with Luke in the spring, and then your opponent in this game kind of being reported as being involved in that, do you feel like that gives the game any juice at all?
Yeah, probably. I can't speak for Luke, and honestly, I've never spoke about that conversation in any way, shape, or form with Luke. One of the things that I've really appreciated about Luke's demeanor, his personality, is he's just the same guy every day, right? And to get one more game with him, I think to have an SEC opponent for him is really pretty cool, right? Like I know that he has grown up in the obviously the SEC world down there, and then start his career at Ole Miss, and to go out of here as one of the most decorated players in Illinois football history. But more than that, he just stands for all these great things here at Illinois, and I think to have that moment for him is probably the thing I'll cherish more than anything.
How do you approach the conversation with guys like Luke, Gabe,
Yeah.
opt-out conversation? How do you do that?
Yeah, well, I've already had Gabe, Luke, JC, a couple other guys. I kind of concentrated this week on my guys that were in their last window or having to make major decisions. I've always just kind of given facts and data and information and kind of let them see how they feel, right? I know there's a lot of voices that go into it. I think it's really cool now. Everybody wants to talk about the timing and all that goes into it. Obviously, CFP got announced today, and I fully expect us to be in those conversations in the years ahead. But for where we were at, it kind of allowed us to take a deep breath this week. We lifted them twice. Met with them on Tuesday. Had a victory dinner on Tuesday night, which was absolutely awesome. We got this week until Wednesday, and then they kick into finals, and finals till that next Wednesday. We'll do some fun things, just a simple thing. We'll take these guys to eat at the ribeye. Like, that's like a big deal to them. So all these little, for us, all the way up until the 20th, once school gets out, you kind of got to keep them occupied a little bit. So I'm already setting up practice around something where we can watch the CFP on the 19th and 20th, maybe something together. So, yeah, I think to play these guys, but also for these seniors that got a decision to make, like, you just don't get these moments very much anymore. It was funny. We have a couple guest captains that came in this year, and a lot of guys that have played in the NFL, and they just always make reference to the friendships they make and bonded while they're here is more than any time when their college or their NFL career. And I really try to get those guys to understand and appreciate that.
Can you share about those guys' decisions at this point?
Today's not the day, but I do think we'll probably have some things moving forward this week. I do tell the guys, like, for me, I learned so much as a head coach through my players, right? And I keep going back to, that year when Spoon jumped out and a couple of guys jumped. Like, I just want to make sure those guys have their moment. They've done so many great things here. I don't want it to be some, social media graphic that their buddy from high school put together. Nothing wrong with that. But like you know what I mean? Like they deserve to be rewarded and celebrated in the right ways.
Have you been able to watch any of Tennessee this year? Do you know anything about their offense? Or
Yeah, I snuck a peek in there last week. Wednesday and Thursday I did a little Tennessee recon. Just very impressed with offensively. Just always been. Josh is just incredibly gifted play caller, and what they do offensively. Obviously, their quarterback is put up some ridiculous numbers. Have a couple receivers. Have a running back that's run for close to 1,000. Defensively, a year ago were statistically one of the best in the country. I know things fell off a little this year statistically, but a very opportunistic group. I think special teams is always going to be a challenge in the bowl games, right? So, like, I literally will start a file now as you watch all these games unfold, just kind of how things are won and lost in these moments, right? Because, guys go through a natural break here, and sometimes these bowl games kind of have things similar to the beginning of the year where people just kind of forget about how you lose football games. We got to keep that in mind.
There were a couple teams, coaching changes that opted out of bowl games, and then Notre Dame,
Yeah.
I think, got their feelings hurt and opted out. I mean, are you, I don't know, concerned at all that bowl games will have less?
I get it. I think there'll be a tweaking of the bowl games just because I think even with the CFP last year, our chief of staff, Mark's heavily involved with some of those conversations. And, in our preparation for this year, we obviously had some playoff conversations about what we do. We didn't want to get caught in the moment and have to react. So I think there's some some uniqueness to these home games that are played, you know, that were very popular, right? And to see those might expand, I think, in the future. I would think with college football playoffs. You know, I don't really worry about conversations I'm not in, right? It's kind of interesting. Obviously, when I saw Fitz get hired last week, and obviously new coach going to UCLA, like you're aware of it, but I don't really concentrate on those things now. I mean, I know what happened at Notre Dame, but I don't know the logistics of what happened or how it happened. I was when they weren't in it. Right away, I went to a wonder what bowl game they were going to, right? Just because everything kind of is pre-aligned. So I went and watched my my two little ones perform in an Advent choir today at St. Matt's. So I was in the second row watching a first grader and a third grader sing Silent Night when the bowl game announcement came out. So I really wasn't involved in all those. I don't even know what happened in the rest of the world.
Brett, you mentioned your practices, you know, up in the next couple of weeks might be Illinois-centric.
Yeah.
And you said to us, like in the second bowl week, I'm trying to tell guys, hey, this is your opportunity to show me why you need to be
Yeah.
here. Is that a similar vibe to maybe these early bowl?
Yeah, you know, you guys have probably seen those. There are some of my guys that haven't really played a lot that they want a pre-portal. They want to declare they're getting in the portal before the portal can open, and I understand it. I had conversations with all those guys. You know, Trey's a guy that I knew for a long time was probably going to go in this direction, and I could feel certain things begin to happen with a couple of those other guys, but. Like this year, like last year, there were several guys that I said, hey, if you want to play in this bowl game, right, I'll let you stay involved with the team. You can enjoy the celebration of the bowl, and then, you know, the portal opens up January 2nd. I know you can pre-portal or whatever you want to do. I just want to get guys good, but I think there's a lot of guys that I haven't talked to that I will over the next 3 or 4 weeks that I'm sure they're in their mind saying, hey, what do I want to do here? And as coaches, we're saying the same thing, right? Like we want to see everybody be at their best, and we'll do a lot of stuff that will take most of our main starters that aren't going to be with us next year, remove them, and let those other guys play football. And I'm super excited to see Ethan and Carson Boyd, you know, those two guys at the quarterback position, several offensive linemen, some of the backup defensive linemen, outside linebacker like Joe Barna is a guy that I'm really excited. Him and Daniel Brown, those are two outside guys that, you know, after Gabe and Alec are gone, and now Leon Lowry, those are guys that I think will step into starting roles, and I'm super excited about them, but I'm kind of excited to see where they go right now.
Brett, you guys as a staff had a lot of success the last 2 years. How do you feel about your staff moving forward? Do you feel like you need to?
Yeah, great question. I know obviously James White is going to move on, right? So it's funny, like I just get bombarded with people that want to be a part of this thing. So I haven't really, you know, had many conversations with our staff, but I just know that when you hire good coaches, there's going to be things that happen. I know a couple of my guys are involved in conversations now that I'm aware of, just to make sure that I'm in the loop. I always tell my staff, right, I just don't want any surprises, right? So I'm sure there's going to be some transition, but for me right now, nothing will transition before the bowl game.
All good?
All good. Yeah.
What can you guys gain as a roster from just, you know, having another month together?
Yeah. Well, I think exactly what you said. I'm super excited to watch the Canopics, right? Like both those guys at both tackle spots. I'm really excited to see a guy like Brandon Hanson, Eddie Turek, T.J. McMillan right at the center. Like Josh Kreutz has been a mainstay at that center for 3 years, right? Now we got to see where it goes. I'd love to see Brandon Henderson take that next step because he's going to have the most returning starts coming back on the offensive line, right? A guy like Angelo McCollum at nose guard, right? Like really see him. I think he's on the verge of doing something. You saw it this year. Mac Rusevich in the back end. Jaheim Clark really had a nice 3 games at the end, and to see where he goes. So there's that kind of stuff all around us. You know, less publicized but more recognized. You know, like who's going to be our next punter, right? And to have a couple guys in competition for some of those special teams. You know, Hank Beatty's been returning punts for 2 years, right? Now who's going to step into that role? So there's a lot of excitement. I think it'll happen. I think it's going to be fun this week. I told our coaches, I let them go on Friday morning. We only met till about noon. And I just gave them the whole weekend. I said, hey, just get ready because when we come back on Monday, we're going to grind for 3 weeks, take about a 4-day break for Christmas, go over to Nashville, and I want to take this thing to a different level, right? So both for the coaches and players, I think a lot of exciting things can happen.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.